Good morning, Siege. My name is John Gale, and I may not look like it, but I'm actually a Japanese language teacher by trade. Seriously, I have a master's degree in Japanese. It's what I've done with my life. Anybody here like to learn some Japanese? Okay, right. I figured there'd be at least a few people. I mean, after all, it's a popular language with the anime and the Japanese video games and all that. It's also a very difficult language with all its thousands of characters you have to learn. But you know what? For all of you out there who want to learn Japanese, I've got great news for you today. There's an app for that. Yeah, there's actually over about 1,000 apps for that on the iPhone in the US alone, according to App Annie. And, there's the course apps like Duolingo, there's the flashcard apps like Sticky Study, and there's games, hundreds and hundreds of games, and lots of really great games out there. This is one I recommend to my students. But most of the games suffer from what I call the Roman alphabet assistance problem. So what do I mean by that? It's where the game takes a Japanese character and then represents it or uses mechanics that match it to letters from the Roman alphabet. In this example right here, we have the Japanese letter A matched with the alphabet letter A. And you may think this makes things easier at first, but in reality, in the long term, if a student comes to rely on this assistance, they can do real harm to their long-term Japanese language learning. And games just have this amazing power to avoid the Roman alphabet assistance problem altogether. I know because I teach absolute beginners at the Tennessee Language Center in Nashville. We use no Roman alphabet in my classes whatsoever, but we use lots and lots of games. And I've seen their effectiveness at helping a learner acquire the language more naturally, similar to how a Japanese child learns their own language, playing with games, letter blocks, books, those type of things. So the solution is to design games where the mechanics allow users to interact with the language directly. What do I mean by that? Just as a brief example, I present my first game, Hiragana Breaker, which is a block breaker game, and the levels are shaped like Japanese letters. And as the player breaks a block, they hear a Japanese person say the sound of that character in the background. So through this constant repetition and then the quiz features, a player could learn all 46 of these Hiragana characters just through playing a video game. My own students are my primary testers, and they vindicated the effectiveness of this design philosophy for me. And what Hiragana Breaker has been for me has been the engine and the instrument through which I've learned game design, where I've learned programming and using the Unity game engine and how the app stores operate. And I've been taking it to conventions and showing it off and getting positive feedback from users. And I've learned what it would take to scale this design philosophy into a profitable and sustainable company is a team. And I've started putting that team together. I have 2 people signed on that if we get the company funded, they would join. Both of them speak Japanese, thankfully. Amanda's a very brilliant social media coordinator to handle the marketing. Javen is a talented 2D artist and musician. He can edit audio, create music, and create the art assets. And what this team would do is go attack a target market that includes 3.6 million students who study Japanese formally at institutions worldwide. This is according to data from the Japan Foundation. And as you can see, the majorities are in China, Indonesia, and Korea. And going back to that Roman alphabet assistance problem, the alphabet's not so useful if your native language is Chinese or Korean. So the games that rely totally on these alphabet matching mechanics kind of, in a way, isolate themselves from 2 of the biggest markets for Japanese language education out there. Now, what these numbers don't include are casual learners, which is difficult to measure, but there's a lot more of them. Just as an example, Duolingo's Japanese language course at the end of 2017 had 3.9 million registered users in the United States alone. And as further proof for the demand for these type of games, I present competitor game Koei, which is a role-playing game that teaches the Japanese language as the user plays through the story. And Koei created a lot of buzz because their Kickstarter met its goal of about $53,000 in only 6 days. Went on to close that campaign with about $114K raised. So this is really exciting. This shows that there is a market for these type of games, that they're excited for these type of games, and that they're willing to spend money on these type of games. Now, Koei's Kickstarter happened back in 2014. Right now, today in 2018, you can download the alpha build of Koei for $25. So their long development process shows that there is a risk and a burden with content creation, especially if you want to create deep, immersive content for language learning. And we could face that same risk at SenseiGames, but we would counter that by continually releasing mobile games with shorter turnaround times and have that revenue coming in as we chase the dream, the big dream, Japanese language education in virtual reality with our project VR Sensei. This is a small tech demo we put together on the Oculus Rift here in the video. And what we could do with this project is release it in stages. A first stage, just a Japan walking simulator supported with ads. Then add the social features where users can meet up, walk around parts of Tokyo, meet in these classrooms, draw on the board, chat in Japanese. Next, a feature that allows teachers to essentially rent virtual classrooms where they could teach group or private lessons for a fee, and we would capture a commission of that. So following this model, we'd have feedback and revenue coming in while we design our own lesson modules that we then sell as paid downloadable content, DLC, and in-app purchases. So SenseiGames is a company that from the start can have products ready, ship them, start marketing them, and bring revenue in. And I research and update the financials regularly. I have updated financials that are different from what is in the Siege application, and I'm ready to provide copies of those. Even with revenue coming in early, my mentors and I, we've been working on the projections, and we project the company would hit a break-even point in Q3 of its second year. So about a year and a half to get to sustainable profitability, and to reach that point would take about $500K of capital to get there. So what I've come to the Siege Investment Conference today to do is to learn. I want to learn. I have lots of questions. Is this kind of capital raise feasible? Is this kind of revenue feasible on mobile and VR? What is feasible? What is the approach to take? What are the actions to take? So I'm looking forward to the breakout sessions later. So excited, so thankful to be here and receive the mentorship today. You guys can reach out to me on my personal website, johnsensei.com, or I'm out there on Facebook and Twitter at Mr. John Sensei. Let's stay in touch throughout the conference, hopefully after that. Enjoy the rest of Siege, everybody. As we say in Japanese, Goshido no hodo yoroshiku onegai itashimasu. I look forward to your guidance. Thank you very much. Yeah. 2 minutes, exactly as I practiced. Yes, sir. Right. In that world, you can approach all the different learning types, the visual, the audio, the kinetic, and you can, with East Asian languages, the research has been done that you do have to write with your hand in order for the brain to memorize these characters. And it's a challenge that Japan's own education system is struggling with right now, where we don't write a whole lot. So mechanics of Japanese language learning games can really benefit if there is that writing mechanic where they could practice writing on the board or on a device. For our lesson modules, what we intend to do is have lessons where you would, for example, the sample lesson, the teacher comes into the classroom and she teaches you, hey, we're going to write the letter Su. And you write Su a lot of times. And then you write the letter Shi. And you write that a few times. And like, hey, you spelled the word sushi. Now go out on the street to the convenience store and your host mother calls you, and then you have a bunch of products and you have to read the label, and she's like, hey, pick up some sushi. And then you have to read that. So a combination of the classroom lessons with sort of real world exercises, similar to what someone would really experience in Japan. Yes. Right. I mean, that is the customer's pain point, is they want to go to Japan. Then that's why they want to learn the language. And this is a way, in a sense, to send them there. Yes, sir. So in terms of mobile apps, your major players get about 100K downloads to a million downloads. And that's sort of what we've seen. And so for our mobile apps, we were aiming around the 300 to 500K downloads. And the market, again, 3.7 million worldwide studying Japanese. And our products are a lot more geared to the casual learner, and that's sort of a difficult market to measure. Looking at other apps, again, looking at Duolingo kind of gives me those numbers to work with.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.